We all know the Christmas story, right? It's one of the most famous stories in the world. But how would you tell it to a kid who's never heard it before? Well, today, we're going to dig into a really popular animated video that does just that. We'll see how it takes this ancient story and makes it fresh for a modern YouTube audience by focusing on making it simple, magical, and easy for anyone to understand.
Right out of the gate, the video tells you exactly what it is. This isn't some dry history lesson or a heavy theological debate. Nope. With this first line, you're invited to get cozy, like you're about to hear a fantastic bedtime story. It's a promise of pure wonder right from the start. And this setup, it's the whole key. By framing the entire thing as an answer to a kid's simple question, the video immediately lets us know we're getting back to basics. It's going to be explained with a lot of warmth and clarity, and you don't need to know anything coming in. So, our story begins with an angel's message, but we don't start with some grand, sweeping historical overview. Instead, it drops us right into a classic storybook setting. About 2,000 years ago in a small town called Nazareth. It immediately makes this huge epic tale feel grounded and relatable. And just look at how they introduce our main character, Mary. She's not called the Blessed Virgin or anything complicated. She's just a young Jewish girl who is about to marry a good man. The language is super simple on purpose, focusing on her humanity so any kid watching can connect with her right away.
When the angel Gabriel shows up, what's the very first thing he says? Don't be afraid. The video makes a choice here to focus on comfort instead of, the overwhelming shock and fear of seeing an angel. For a kid's story, that's a really powerful message. It turns a potentially terrifying moment into one of gentle kindness.
And the prophecy itself? It's delivered in 3 crystal clear points. There's no confusing language, no long speeches, just a simple, direct 1, 2, 3 message. That kind of structure is fantastic for a kid's memory, breaking down this absolutely huge idea into small, easy-to-swallow pieces.
Now, this is an interesting choice the video makes. It really simplifies Mary's reaction. It completely skips over any questions or doubts she might have had in the original texts, and instead focuses on her immediate, faithful acceptance. This keeps the story moving and presents a very clear, simple moral about faith.
All right, so next up is the journey to Bethlehem, which brings in the story's first big obstacle. It's an outside force, this new law from a Roman emperor, that gets our characters moving and creates all the drama for this next part of the tale. And this right here is a perfect example of keeping things simple. Why did they have to travel all that way? The video boils down the whole complicated idea of a Roman census into a reason any kid can understand. They had to pay some taxes. Getting the story moving is way more important than getting bogged down in historical details. To really make you feel how tough this journey was, the source gives us a hard number, 65 miles. Suddenly, it's not just some abstract trip. It's a real distance, and that helps even a little kid start to understand the huge challenge Mary and Joseph were up against. And then they pair that number with this simple but really effective phrase. The repetition of many, many just drills home how long and hard it was. It wasn't just a long walk. It was a grueling journey. Combining that specific number with this description is a great way to build empathy for them. So, after that long, hard journey, they finally get to Bethlehem, and they run into their biggest problem yet. The story hits its most dramatic point right here, and you can feel the mood shift. Things just got urgent and desperate.
Notice that repetition again, just like many, many days? The video repeats all and full to just hammer home that feeling of complete hopelessness. It's a simple trick, but it's so powerful. It tells you that every single door was shut in their faces.
And wow, this quote from Joseph, it perfectly captures his desperation. The video lets us hear his direct pleading prayer. He isn't some stoic, silent figure here. He's a tired, worried man at his wit's end, just turning to his faith for help. It makes him feel so incredibly human. So from that peak crisis moment, we move into the story's core event. And the video makes a very clear and deliberate choice here. It frames the birth of Jesus not with glory and grandeur, but with deep, profound humility. I mean, look at this. The video makes its point so clearly. It doesn't just tell you where he was born, it lists all the fancy places he was not born. No palace, no castle. This direct contrast is designed to shout the central theme from the rooftops, that true greatness can be found in the most humble and unexpected places. Then the focus shifts to these small, comforting details. Okay, so there was no crib, which sounds pretty sad, but the story immediately softens that. The manger is filled with fresh hay, and most importantly, it was made comfortable for the baby. This flips the scene from one of poverty to one of tender, loving care. So the baby has been born, and now the story moves into its final act, spreading the word. The focus pulls back from that private, humble little stable and shifts to a big, public, and joyous announcement. And the angel's message to the shepherds is, once again, so direct and to the point. There's no mystery here. It's good news, and here's exactly what it is. The tone is just pure celebration and clarity. It's designed to spark immediate joy and get people moving. And what about the shepherd's reaction? It's just this wonderful rush of simple, powerful feelings and actions. They're so excited, so happy. They don't wait around, they run. Their joy is instant, and their very first instinct after seeing the baby is to go tell absolutely everyone. And in the end, the story doesn't leave us with a complex theological point to ponder. It leaves us with a feeling, wonder. This universal emotion is the ultimate takeaway. The whole story is presented as something truly magical, leaving everyone, the characters in the story, and the kid watching at home, in a state of awe. Which really brings us to our final question. By stripping away all the complexity and focusing on these core emotions, comfort, desperation, humility, and wonder, this video makes a 2,000-year-old story feel immediate and personal. It makes you think, doesn't it, about what's truly essential to a story and what can be gained or maybe even lost when we translate it for someone new.